You may have heard that Gen Z is saddled with more depression, more anxiety, and less sex than any other generation. They are late to bloom, they are late to get their driver's license, they're more likely to live at home with their parents. What is going on? And for a long time, some of us have suspected social media and smartphones as the reason of latent blooming and development in Gen Z, which is, I think, the ages up to age 28 right now. As a mother and a grandmother and someone interested in social trends and sexuality, I found this deeply concerning. And like I tell my kids, if you have any kids or kids that you have, I'm a grandmother, do not let them have a smartphone until they're in high school. We talk about the great rewiring of the American brain or social brain. This is happening all over the world, the great rewiring of the brain, and it's really damaging to the development of sexuality, career prospects, intelligence, and socialization. So the reason that Gen Z is having less sex is because it's easier to just get sex delivered to your phone. And in this clip that I'm going to play for you, I'm going to play for you a clip from Jonathan Haidt, who was interviewed on Unheard. He's an American social psychologist, co-author of the bestseller The Coddling of the American Mind, and author of the new book The Anxious Generation. And based on the data that he lays out, he shows that the introduction of smartphones to children around 2011 accelerated the crisis of social media addiction. And that's why these kids don't want to do anything. They have their smartphones to play video games and to get porn on sex delivered to them. So they're less interested in meeting real women. And this is the part that I want to play for you right now in this clip about how social media has precluded boys' ability to grow into men and basically be very incompetent because they can just play their video games and get women delivered to them on porn. So let's watch this clip and then I will be back on the other side.
Zoom in on the sexual development side, because I think that's something I haven't talked as much about in previous conversations. I think it's very, very important. Normal sexual development. Let's just focus on heterosexual kids, because the problems are greatest there, because you get boys and girls moving into different online worlds, and losing the ability to talk to each other in constructive ways. So on the boys' side, boys, once testosterone starts kicking in around 10 or 11, you get the beginning of sexual desire in both sexes. Boys develop a very strong sex drive, and it used to be that they had to work, they had to do something to get that satisfied. They had to try to talk to girls, they wanted to get a girlfriend. But now the pornography is so available and so easy that boys are able to satisfy their sexual desires with no work, no risk of embarrassment, nothing. And it's so easy, it makes it less necessary to actually talk to girls, learn how to talk to girls, learn how to flirt, learn how to court. So boys have less motivation to do that, and they do a lot less of it.
There's an old joke that if there's a kink, there's pornography made of it, and that's even more
that's right.
True of now a kind of widened internet. And I suppose if you've got proclivities or ideas that are outside of the normative structure of sexuality, those are much easier to access online now, and you have no actual requirement to act in a, let's say, sexually normative way. And I'm not talking here about heterosexuality, homosexuality, I'm talking about the farthest reaches of very violent pornography and that sort of thing. So there is no requirement for you to socialize yourself sexually.
Given that Pornhub and other sites, they don't even ask you if you're 18. You just go on. There's nothing. You don't even have to lie. You just go on. So almost all kids find Pornhub or other sites, in middle school. For us, that's around age, 11, 12, 13, 14. They've all seen it. And then some kids, especially boys, get lured in. The data does show that while almost all girls have seen it, girls don't become daily users. There are very, very few girls who look at porn every day. But there's a growing number of boys. One Swedish study found it went from like 5% to 20% once we go through this period, the Great Rewiring. So their ideas about what sex is are shaped by this, and that means it's much more aggressive. a lot of slapping, choking, I mean, all sorts of things. So obviously, the girls are being pornified. I mean, what gets them likes is adopting those super sexual poses that are copied after porn type images. So the girls are being super sexualized, while at the same time being shown that sex is this frightening, disgusting thing for many of them. And this is what the boys are watching. This is what the boys expect. This is what you'll have to do. So is it any wonder that Gen Z is having much less sex, less dating? They're going to have less marriage, they'll have fewer children. I think sexual development is pretty important, and I think we should at least protect kids from ages 10 to 15. Like, can't we at least say that from, when you're 16, you can be exposed to all this crazy stuff, but can't we at least protect early puberty? That's one of my pleas in the book. Early puberty is really, really important.
So there we have the video, and basically what he's saying was that when boys don't have to or get the opportunity to challenge themselves to interact with women in real life, to get to know them and talk to them and flirt with them and experience real women, they can bypass all that by going onto these porn sites. And the porn is not just replacing a real woman, it's actually presenting a very wounded, violent way of interacting with women, which is very harmful to these boys. And the girls are looking at that and going, if that's what sex is, I don't want it. And boys are going, well, I can get that stuff online, so why should I talk to a real woman? I don't like to face rejection. But that's everything that makes us grow in life is difficult. Applying for a job, taking a difficult class. We have to challenge ourselves to grow. And it's part of healthy teenage development to interact with the opposite sex. And these smartphones are robbing children of that opportunity. If you want to give your children a leg up in the world, do not let them have a smartphone until they're in high school. Make sure they're always taking math, English lit, that they have a part-time job, and that they have time to be bored and to play and to be involved in family life, in making dinner, cleaning the table, doing chores, and having a say in things that impact the family. That's how you give your kids a leg up, not through these smartphones. These are actually, the more kids are on smartphones, the more they're going to be left behind in the modern world. And that's why well-to-do parents who are attentive to their kids do not let them have smartphones, I believe. That's what I think. But let me know what you think about this video. And thank you so much for watching.